EuroKitchen is Anna's kitchen, but it's your kitchen and it's everybody's kitchen. If you want to try a place where the food's finger licking, just come on in to the EuroKitchen. Anna's always cooking food that looks and smells so good. It's fine cuisine from all corners of the world, right in your neighborhood. It's Italian dinners and Portuguese fare. It's Francais food with a European flair. You can stop right there with all your channels switching and pull up a chair in the EuroKitchen. Anna's EuroKitchen.
Hi, and welcome to my EuroKitchen. Today we're making one of my favorite cookies, Anisette. They're those little round balls with the great icing and the little sprinkles. These are my favorite cookies to make. So let's get started with the recipe and then I'm going to show you how to make them. Okay, so for your ingredients, you will need a 1/4 cup of unsalted butter, which is 4 tablespoons, so make sure it's unsalted butter. 2 tablespoons of room temperature vegetable shortening. Then you want to use 2 tablespoons of vegetable or canola oil. So you have 2 tablespoons of my favorite Crisco, and then this is just vegetable shortening. 3/4 cups of granulated sugar. 4 eggs at room temperature. It's really important that your milk and your eggs are at room temperature. When it says room temperature, you got to have them at room temperature. It helps everything because your butter's already softened and it's going to get mixed so much better like that. Then we have a table of anise, not a table, but a tablespoon, sorry about that. 4 cups of flour, 4 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/3 cup of whole milk, has to be whole milk at room temperature. Now for the icing, that's going to be your confectionery sugar. So I use 4 cups of confectionery sugar. I know it sounds like a lot, but this makes a lot of cookies. 1 tablespoon of anise extract and 1/3 to 1/2 cup of room temperature milk. And it's going to depend on when you make the icing. You don't want it really, really watery and you don't want it really, really thick. You want to be able to have that drizzle, because I just take my cookies out and I dunk them in there and then I put my sprinkles on. So let's get started with the recipe itself. So you're going to need your stand mixer. If you have the paddle attachment, you want to use that. So what we do first, and the other ingredient is you want to have the colored sprinkle, you want to have the colored sprinkles, the rainbow sprinkles. That's what's going to go on top of the cookie. So you need to have those. So that's our other ingredient. So what we do first is we take our sugars and our butters and our Crisco, and we're going to cream everything. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take my butter, and you want that 1/4 cup, which is 4 tablespoons. It's a shame I got to wear glasses all the time. I am getting so old. Okay, so 4 tablespoons. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to cut it right down. See how nice and soft this butter is? Okay, so we're going to take that, and we're just going to drop it right into the mixer. And remember what I always say, put these in your freezer. These are so good because then you grease your pan. So let's put this stuff aside as we use it. Okay, now I'm going to take my sugar. I'm just going to put it in here. And I just want to start to mix this. Would help if I brought my bowl up. Sorry. You just want to get the butter and the sugar combined really well. You'll see it'll break down to like little peas. Okay, so I have that broken down to like little peas. Now I'm going to add my Crisco. Okay, I want to make sure I get that all out of there. But I love, love these cookies. And you'll see them in the stores, but it's so easy to make them. I have to tell you a funny story while I'm thinking about this. My little granddaughter Mia loves pizzelles. She loves that anise flavor, and so do I. I mean, I could dab this on and wear it all day. I love the smell of anise. A good friend of mine, who's my brother's friends, I've known for like 40 years, I've been making him pizzelles for years, and a week ago he said to me, I have to confess to you, I give your cookies away. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, I can't stand the taste of anise. I thought, oh my God, You should have told me. I would have made you something else. So some people don't like that licorice flavor. Oops. Okay, so now in here is the sugar, the Crisco, and the butter. And can you see how it's all well combined? Okay. All right, so now what you want to do is take your eggs one at a time, and I'm going to break them in the bowl just to make sure they're okay. And we're going to add them just one at a time because you want to get them really combined in there. So I had my oven preheating at 375 degrees. Okay, we're going to take a second one. But I think these are so pretty at Easter time. Sometimes I'll put them just on a tray, or if I'm going to somebody's house, I'll put like colored grass on them and put them on there. But I'll tell you, they're like the first thing to go. I love them. And all my kids are like, Ma, you bringing the Annis cookies with the little dots? Yep, I'm bringing them. Okay, wipe my hands. It's getting nice and creamy. Okay, here comes the last one. Okay, put these aside. Wipe my hands, add the last one. Okay, so now this is really creamy. The butter, the sugar, the Crisco, and the 4 eggs. So now I can stop on that. And now what I'm going to do, put this aside. Okay, I'm going to put this liquid in. This was the liquid vegetable oil. So just want to get that in there. Okay. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to take that flour and baking powder and we want to combine that and sift it. So here's my flour, baking powder, 4½ teaspoons. So take my flour that's already there and I'm going to put 4½ teaspoons in it. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. Okay, so now what I do is I'm going to sift those, and what's going to do is it's going to take any little particles out maybe that were supposed to be in there. So I just take a large bowl and I put it in a little at a time and I just start to sift it and get that all, that way my flour and the baking powder are combined really well. I'm not going to get like a big bite of baking powder in my cookie. Keep sifting this, but this makes a really big batch of cookies. It's great. Get the rest of that in there, and just keep sifting. I love this because I can drain my pasta at the same time, and I have a sifter all in one. Okay, now when you get to the end, and you see these like lumps and stuff, just take your finger and break them down and keep on sifting. There you go. We're all set. So now what you want to do is you want to add the liquid and the powder. There we go. And then we're also going to use it for our icing too. Okay, so what we do is we put this on a low speed. Okay, I'm going to start to put a little bit of that milk in. Okay. Oh, that anise smells so good. A little bit of my dry ingredients. Now, take a little bit more of the milk. A little bit more of my dry ingredients. What's nice about these machines, these mixers, is they do come with these guards so that you can actually put this on and you can feed this stuff through the splatter guard. I just never use it, but you can. All right, we want to end now with the milk. So I want to take this and make sure I get all my flour off of here that I poured in, okay? You're going to notice with this dough it's going to be a little bit wet, and that's okay. Now I just want to drop this down, and I want to make sure that all of this gets combined, that I'm not missing anything from the sides of this bowl. Take this off my paddle attachment here, get it all scraped down because I want to make sure this is all combined. Sometimes I got to move this over a little bit so I can get to the other side of the bowl. Okay. That's all scraped down. Now we're going to mix it really good. Just for a few minutes, just to make sure that everything got combined. Okay, so now this is all combined, so I can stop the mixer, take this off, bring this over here, okay? You want to have about a 40 gauge ice cream scooper to use for your cookies. So now I take my paddle attachment, I just want to get all this off. I could just dig in here, eat this raw. I love this dough. It's so good. Oh, it smells good. I guess, you know, I was telling you that story about my friend. I never knew that he didn't like anise flavor. Here I was like 20 some years making hemp sales. He finally said to me, like around Thanksgiving time, he goes, I'm really sorry, but I've been giving away those pizzelles you bring me all the time. I'm like, when were you going to tell me that? He goes, well, I'm telling you now. He goes, but they went to good use. I gave them to another friend. I told my brother, all those years I was giving Michael those pizzelles. He doesn't like anise. I don't know. I guess if you like it, you think, how could nobody else like it? But, okay, so scrape this down, okay, and get it all incorporated. Okay. So then I'm going to take just a little bit of flour and just put it on my board. And I'm going to turn this out on it. Okay. Oh, I could so eat this raw right now. This is kind of like your pasta dough now. So this is all ready for the oven. So what I want to do is take my parchment paper. And you want to take parchment paper. Okay, so parchment paper is great. Even though you have Teflon pans, it keeps it from sticking. And also keeps them from burning too. So what I do is when I take it like this, I square it off. Okay, and then I know where I'm going to fold it. So then I just fold it over like this, okay, and there's my little line there, and I know I got to fold it here, and then I just turn it over, see, and it's already folded, and now it fits my pan perfectly. So, oops, I guess I got to fold this piece down, hold on. I know you're probably at home and saying, why didn't you just get a pair of scissors out? That'd be a lot easier, but that is just too easy, so we got to do it this way. Okay. Now we're cooking with gas. Take my scooper, and I'm just going to go into my dough, okay, and you're going to roll these out and place them on the cookie sheet. Now it looks like they're large, but they're going to flatten out a little bit. You want to space them about 2 inches apart. I usually put 3 across on a row. It depends on how big your cookie sheet is. I am so going to eat a piece of this dough when we go to break. So remember, the oven's at 375. They're going to cook for about 10 minutes. You want to watch them. You want to keep them that pale color. You don't want them to really turn to like a golden brown. If you don't want them this big, you can use a smaller one, but you want to have about 2 tablespoons for your cookies. So this is going to get a little loud for a second, but once you have them on the cookie sheet like this, you want to tap them, okay? And that's going to flatten them out. So we are going in the oven at 375 for 10 minutes. Make sure your rack is on the middle part of the oven too. We need 4 cups of confectionery sugar. Sounds like a lot, but remember, you make a lot of cookies. Okay, that's 1. 2. 3. And 1 more. You know, it's funny, my little granddaughter, she's 10 months old now. I can't believe she's going to be a year and 2 months. It's gone by so fast. She's just starting like to have sweet stuff. And my daughter, she's always like on Snapchat with the cutest little things of her. But I said to her, you need to start videotaping. And Bobby looked at me like, what are you talking about, videotaping? So I actually got them a videotape machine. I said, you have to have videotape because these Snapchats are gone in seconds. So they took her out to dinner one night. And she had like the tubes of pasta on her finger, like the rigatonis, and she was eating them. Then for dessert, they got creme brulee, and she's like, and I thought, she's 10 months old, and she's already eating the good stuff, so I'm going to give her some of these. So we have 4 cups of confectionery sugar, and what I'm going to do now is put 1 tablespoon of anise into the confectionery sugar. Oh, I love this stuff. And now, I have a 1/2 cup of milk here. Remember, it was like 3/4 cups to a 1/2 cup. I'm going to start with a 1/2 cup. I'm not going to put it all in, though, because I don't want this too liquidy. So I'm going to start to mix it. And it always looks like when you're making a confectionery icing that, oh, I'm never going to have enough. But see how it starts to come together? You don't really need a lot of liquid with this. Oops, sorry about that. It's funny because my little Mia, she has the hardest time trying to say confectionery sugar. Should be like confection and... All right, get this all mixed up. Okay, I may end up using all of it. So let's try a little bit more. Okay, so that's got it pretty wet in there. I just want to get it fully combined. This is where your muscles come in. During the break, I was talking with Kelly, and she said, I don't have one of these mixers. She just has a hand mixer. That doesn't matter. Same thing. You can use it. You don't have to have one of these big mixers. Okay, just want to get this all combined. This is why you want to have your milk at room temperature, because if not, this wouldn't come out as soft like this as it is. So the more you mix this, the more the consistency is that you're going to want. So I didn't add all the milk, and I think this is pretty good. I don't think I'm going to make it any more liquidy. I mean, that's pretty good for me. So what you do, this is what I do. I take my cookies and I just turn them in and get them really well coated. Okay, And then I try to get some of it to run off. Not all of it, but most of it. Okay? And that's all I do. And then while they're wet, usually I put a piece of paper under here. I wasn't that smart this morning to think about that, but then just take your sprinkles and just put your little sprinkles on. Okay? Take the next one. And the reason I would put the paper underneath is because then afterwards I put my sprinkles that fell off and put them back in my jar. So I'm not wasting them. Okay, I'm going to shake off that excess and just make a little loop on it. And while it's wet, so dying to pop one of these in my mouth. Okay. Okay, this one opened up a little bit, so I'm going to kind of put it on like that. And you know, if you don't want to dip it like this and you want to get like all fancy, you can take your fork and you can just take your icing and just, let me get it and show you. You can just drizzle it back and forth. You don't have to do like the decorating, but I like the old-fashioned Italian kind, so I just put my icing all over it. Okay. All right. We're going to do just a couple more. Then we're going to take a quick break and clean up, and then we're going to come back and wrap up our show. So just 1 second. We'll do this last one. Okay. So I'll be back in just a second. Back. So here's our cookies. Love, love these Annis cookies, and they're so easy to make. So we just put the frosting on them, and then you put your little sprinkles on them. And another thing is, if you don't want to make them in the round shape, you can roll them out like a little snake and make like the little figure 8. That's how they make the Easter dollies at Christmas, Easter time with the Italians. And you can put like a little colored egg in the middle and then put your sprinkles on. So Kelly and I were just going to try one just to see how they are. I love these cookies. These are the best cookies, really. Sorry, my mouth is full. I need a big glass of milk to go with this. So, so good. I love anise flavor, but these cookies are so easy to make. Just roll them out, put them in the oven, ice them, and eat them. So I hope you enjoyed this show, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
But it's your kitchen and it's everybody's kitchen. If you want to try a place where the food's finger licking, just come on in to the Euro Kitchen.